You might be doing everything right, visualizing, repeating affirmations, imagining your new life, and still, nothing changes. What if I told you that might be the exact problem? That trying too hard could actually mean you still don't believe it's already yours? Hold on to that thought, because later it's going to hit home. Here's the truth. Manifesting isn't about wanting something badly, it's about fully claiming it. Most people don't fail because they lack desire. They fail because they keep vibrating like they don't have it yet. And that's more common than you think. Neville Goddard was crystal clear. Imagination creates reality. But he also explained why most people never see results. And the reason is hidden where nobody looks. It's not the technique. It's not the time. It's the inner state. You want it, but you haven't become it. If you keep imagining as someone who's still waiting, you'll keep on waiting. But if you live like it's already yours, the world has no choice but to respond. And by the end of this video, I'll give you a practical exercise to flip that inner switch, something you'll never forget. In this video, you'll uncover the subtle mistakes that sabotage your manifestations and how to fix them. You'll learn what it really means to live in the end with conviction, the power of a consistent scene, and why feeling is the true secret. Get ready to see the invisible with new eyes, and to stop acting like you did before. How many times have you heard someone say, "I want this so badly," and they keep repeating that wish for years with nothing changing? Wanting by itself is passive. It's like staring through a shop window, dreaming about something you can't touch. But when someone decides internally that it's already theirs, something shifts. That's when living in the end starts, just like Neville Goddard taught. It's not about wanting, it's about becoming. Maybe this has happened to you. You did everything, followed all the steps, but deep down it felt like the universe was stuck on pause, right? Believe me, there's a reason for that, and you're about to find out why. The difference between asking for something and assuming it's already yours is subtle, but huge. People who keep asking are telling the universe, "I don't have this yet," and the universe, ever obedient, mirrors that same frequency. On the flip side, people who assume, feel, and live as if it's already done start vibrating in a state of ownership. That's the heart of the law of assumption. Imagination creates reality, but only when it's backed by genuine emotion. That's why so many people get frustrated with failed manifestations. They keep wanting, dreaming, wishing, but they never actually assume. Saying, "I want to get promoted" is one thing, but living each day as if that promotion is already real, that's where the shift happens. It starts in how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you make decisions. Aligned action comes from an assumed state. But why do so many people struggle to truly assume what they want? The answer almost always lies in one place: inner resistance. Most people don't fail at imagining, they fail at holding the image in the face of their own internal resistance. As soon as the scene starts gaining momentum, a little whisper creeps in. Do I really deserve this? What if it doesn't work out? These are sabotaging beliefs, planted deep inside long ago, that quietly wreck your manifestation. Fear dresses up as logic, and invisible faith starts to crumble. One of the biggest enemies of conscious creation is the expectation of time. It's been 3 weeks, and nothing's happened. And just like that, doubt takes the wheel. Neville Goddard talked about this often. Time shouldn't be your thermometer. When you live in the end with conviction, time stops mattering. Your focus stays on certainty. The rhythm of manifestation isn't ruled by clocks. It's ruled by internal persistence. Another trap? The idea of worthiness. Have I done enough to deserve this? Sounds noble, right? But it's rooted in guilt and lack. The law of assumption doesn't work based on merit. It works based on the state you assume. The universe responds to what you are, not what you think you deserve. And as long as those limiting beliefs are running the show, Neville's consistent scene can't fully take root. Picture someone closing their eyes and visualizing the perfect scene. A brand new car, their dream home, a peaceful life. But inside, nothing. No goosebumps, no tears, no real vibe. That's where the real problem lies. Without true emotional charge, the scene is just an empty movie in your mind. Neville said it. Feeling is the secret, and he was right. Now close your eyes for a second and really try to feel, what would that scene be like right now? How would your body respond, your breath, your face? That one small gesture can show you whether you're really creating or just pretending. Feeling is what binds the scene to your subconscious. When you truly feel it, your body reacts, your heart races, your eyes light up, your mind relaxes like it's saying, "This is already mine." That's the turning point. where fantasy becomes creation. Imagination creates reality, but only when it's loaded with real, raw emotion. This isn't acting, it's inner truth. Your body has to believe it before the world ever will. Here's a practical exercise. Remember a real moment when you felt deeply happy and pay attention to how your body responded. Now transfer that same emotion into your imagined scene. Repeating scripted affirmations won't work if you don't feel anything inside. It's the emotional heat that brings the scene to life. And if that scene only shows up once in a while, well, that's where the next big challenge comes in: inconsistency in your mental imagery. Imagine trying to build a house, but every 2 days you change the blueprint, rip out bricks, start over. That's how many people treat imagination. They visualize one day, forget the next, come back with a different scene, then abandon it again. What's the result? The universe gets mixed, confusing signals. Neville Goddard taught that a consistent scene is key. It needs to be stable to take root. Without that, your desire never gets past the sketching phase. Your mental scene needs to become familiar, almost like a sacred inner refuge, a place you visit so often that it feels more real than the world outside. But that requires what I call an inner rhythm of manifestation. Not just occasional visits, a daily commitment. Think of someone who dreams of living abroad. One day they visualize Paris, the next day Lisbon, and a week later they forget it altogether. That energy becomes scattered. And when your energy is scattered, manifestation fails. The scene doesn't even need to be long or filled with details. It could be something simple: signing a contract, smiling as you receive big news, falling asleep peacefully after a breakthrough. What matters is the emotional repetition. Visit that scene every day, feel it fully, and it starts to take form. So far, so good, right? But here's where most people unknowingly slip up. What happens when contradictory thoughts start sneaking in, even after you've imagined everything with emotion? You know that classic "but what if" that pops up right after a powerful visualization? It's one of the biggest thieves of manifestation. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm just fooling myself? What if I'm forcing too much? Those kinds of thoughts are like hitting the brakes while stepping on the gas. You can't create a powerful scene and then cancel it out with doubt. That kind of thinking eats away at invisible faith and interrupts the flow of conscious creation. These self-sabotaging thoughts often come disguised as being realistic, but deep down, they're rooted in old limiting beliefs. Guilt, scarcity, fear of dreaming too big. Neville said, "Manifestations don't fail because of technique. They fail because people don't persist in the face of doubt." Living in the end with conviction takes courage, especially when the outside world looks totally opposite of what you imagined. And I'm not just saying this. There are hundreds of stories from people who completely changed their lives just by practicing this with consistency. So how do you deal with those sneaky thoughts when they show up? You intercept them immediately with aligned action. Let's say the thought is, "This is too big for me." Your response should be, "Then let me imagine myself even bigger." And you repeat that new image until it replaces the old one. The mind accepts whatever is repeated often, and when repetition carries emotion, that's when the state begins to solidify. But all of this only holds together if one key ingredient is present. Some people visualize what they want, but deep down, they're still vibrating with lack. They want a relationship, but feel lonely. They want wealth, but feel poor. That reveals the truth. They're not living in the end with conviction. And here's the central point Neville Goddard hammered home: live as if it's already real. If the dominant feeling is lack, then all you're going to attract is more lack. Living in the end doesn't mean fooling yourself. It means positioning yourself. It's like stepping into a role in a movie and living it from the inside out until it becomes second nature. Imagination creates reality when the inner actor feels, speaks, and acts like they've already arrived. Example? Someone who wants a new career but keeps saying, "I'm still trying." That sentence undoes all their inner work. A better version? "I'm living my career transition with confidence and clarity." The difference lies in the state you choose to assume. Conviction doesn't come from the outside in. It's built in the invisible, through emotional repetition and small inner wins. Peace without a reason, gratitude without proof, confidence even when nothing has changed. These are the bricks of solid manifestation. But for all of that to actually take root, there's one step that most people skip, and it changes everything: creating a rhythm of manifestation. Without rhythm, even the best intentions fade. And when it comes to the law of assumption, This is even more true. If you don't nurture an internal ritual, that sacred moment each day where you revisit your consistent Neville scene, you lose momentum in the manifestation field. It's not about the number of hours, it's about quality and consistency. 1 minute of deep emotional surrender is worth more than 20 distracted ones. Inner rhythm is like breathing. It needs to happen every day. And in a few minutes, I'll show you how to turn this rhythm into a near-automatic habit, even if you think you lack discipline. So, what's a good time to do it? Right before you fall asleep and right when you wake up. That's when the mind is softer, less critical, more open to conscious creation. You can close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel your desire as already done. You can even create a short spoken script, something like, "I am this now, and I feel it with joy." That becomes your ritual. And when the body gets used to it, your subconscious aligns. That's when living in the end with conviction starts becoming your new normal. It's like going to a spiritual gym. You don't wait to get strong to begin. You start while you're still weak, and the strength comes as a result. Emotional persistence creates frequency. Frequency creates form. But even with all that, there's still one place where many stumble: trusting the invisible. Manifesting is, before anything else, an act of invisible faith, and that's scary. We're so used to only trusting what we can touch, measure, or prove that we forget everything that exists started invisible. Doubt creeps in when someone thinks, "But what if I'm just fooling myself?" And that's the wrong question. The right question is, how can I surrender even more to what I feel, even if I can't see it yet? Imagination creates reality, but only when it's fed by trust. Neville was clear: feeling is the secret. And to feel, you have to surrender. Not blindly, but as a conscious choice, to believe before there's evidence. You know that calm that shows up out of nowhere, or that peace you feel for no reason. Those are signs the invisible is already moving. Faith in the unseen isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to walk despite it. You don't wait for the ground to appear. You step forward, and then the ground forms. Doubt is the silent antidote to manifestation. A small thought like "what if" can wipe out days of inner work. That's why you've got to trust the unseen the same way you trust a planted seed. You don't see the sprout on day 2, but you know it's coming. That's what conscious creation is built on. A silent certainty that continues even when no one's clapping. And this is where most people get lost, because they feel, but don't act like it's real yet. Some folks feel everything in imagination. They cry, they vibrate, they give thanks, but in real life they act like nothing has changed. And that's a subtle but destructive mistake. When there's a disconnect between your inner feeling of manifestation and your outer action, your vibration short circuits. It's like saying, "I am abundant," and then turning down opportunities because of fear. The universe doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you are, in practice. If you feel in your imagination that you're already living that new relationship, but in your day-to-day, you still act like love can't be trusted, something's out of alignment. Aligned action is simply the reflection of your inner state. It doesn't mean you force behavior. It means you allow your actions to express the invisible faith you've been cultivating. Sometimes it's something simple: speaking with more confidence, organizing your routine, as if your new life is already in motion. When your outer actions match your inner state, the world has no choice but to follow. Imagination creates reality, but it's the continuity between imagining and living that seals the manifestation. Living in the end with conviction means making decisions that align with that end. When someone feels healed, they behave differently. When someone sees themselves as abundant, they make different choices. Now pause for a second. What if you came back to this part later just to hear it again? Because this point right here can change absolutely everything. And those who assume, continue. Because real transformation happens when you decide to stop wavering and just stay in it. Assuming is the first step. Continuing is what changes everything. A lot of people feel that spark of transformation, but then they self-sabotage. And that happens because they didn't realize that living in the end with conviction isn't a one-time emotion, it's a lifestyle. Neville's consistent scene can't be a random mental exercise. It has to become a natural state. You wake up in it, you act from it, you go to sleep with it, and the outer world, like clockwork, begins to surrender. Real change happens when you stop looking for proof and start behaving like the answer itself. The one who manifests isn't the one who begs with intensity, but the one who maintains the feeling, even when nothing outside seems to confirm it. It's like saying, I am this now, with or without evidence. That's the moment reality finally bends. Because conscious creation doesn't happen through rush, it happens through persistence. Manifestation fails when it rides emotional highs and lows, but solid manifestation is born from invisible faith that keeps going, even in the silence. Once you get that, you don't need to chase signs anymore, you become the sign. Yes, imagination creates reality, but only when a person fully takes responsibility for what they feel, think, live, and continues, until the outer world has no choice but to bow to what they've already decided to be. Now tell me, how many times have you found yourself wishing for something, but still acting like it wasn't yours? How many times did you imagine the scene in your mind, only to let sabotaging thoughts take over the rest of the day? True manifestation takes more than just imagining. It takes assuming, truly feeling, and continuing, even when everything out there seems the same. And what if today was the day you decided to change that? What scene are you ready to hold on to from now on? What feeling are you willing to commit to, so deeply that the outside world has to shift just to keep up? Tell me in the comments, what's the end you're ready to live now? If this video opened your eyes, don't leave without subscribing and turning on notifications. Around here, we don't just talk theory, we practice the feeling, the assumption, and the living as if it's already done. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Live in the end and the rest will follow.